My name is Emily Reyes. I'm 22 years old, and this is how I took revenge on the man who walked away from my life and missed the most important moment of it. It was the morning of my college graduation, the kind of day you dream about when you're pulling all-nighters and eating dollar noodles to survive. My mom stood behind me in our small apartment, gently zipping up my graduation gown. Her eyes were already glassy, her smile trembling with emotion. She'd been both mother and father to me for years, but today, she was just trying to hold it together. My stepdad, Ben, who's only been in my life a few years, stood in the doorway with a cheap bouquet of wildflowers and pride written all over his face. The kind of pride I used to imagine my real dad would show one day. I kept checking the entrance, glancing at my phone. Mark, my biological father, had called 2 days before, full of promises. He said he was coming. He told me he got the best seat and couldn't wait to see me walk that stage. I wanted to believe him. God help me. I wanted it so badly. The ceremony began. The procession started. Gowns swished down the aisle. Parents stood with cameras ready, and my name echoed across the loudspeaker. I took a deep breath, stepped into the sunlight, and looked out over the crowd. But I didn't see him. After the ceremony, I checked my phone. One message. Sorry kiddo, something came up. Congrats. That single sentence hit harder than any of the broken promises before. I just stood there in my cap and gown, surrounded by hugs and cheers, feeling like I was 12 again, staring out the window waiting for headlights that never came. He always had something more important than me. But this time, I didn't cry. I didn't beg. I didn't send a heartbroken reply or ask why. I just felt something settle in me. A line. A turning point. If he didn't want to see me win, I'd make sure he'd never forget that I did. Without him, I grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind of place where everything closes by 8 p.m. and people still wave when they drive past. My parents divorced when I was 8. I remember the way my dad hugged me tight before he left and promised, nothing's going to change. I'll always be there. But things did change. Fast. Within a year, he had moved to states away and married someone new, a woman named Trish with perfect hair, and 2 young sons from a previous marriage. At first, he called every week. Then it became every other. Then just on birthdays. Eventually, if I didn't call or text first, I didn't hear from him at all. My mom, Diane, held everything together like duct tape on a cracked window. She worked at the grocery store during the day and cleaned offices. At night, we didn't have much, but I never went to bed hungry, and I always had someone clapping the loudest at my school plays. When I was 12, the water heater broke. That's when Ben showed up, a quiet, kind man with paint-stained jeans and soft eyes. He fixed more than the pipes. He started showing up with takeout when my mom was too tired to cook. He helped me build my 8th grade science project. When he eventually moved in, he didn't try to take over or replace my dad. He just became the person who was always there. Every scraped knee, every time I forgot my lunch, every awkward school dance where I didn't get asked, Ben showed up. And when I got into college, he helped me pack. He drove me to campus, teared up like a dad would, and said, call us if you need anything. And I mean anything. But Mark, my real dad, he sent checks on holidays. He'd text proud of you without asking what he was even proud of. He missed the big things. Prom, my first heartbreak, even my college tours. Sometimes he'd apologize with gifts, an iTunes card, or a hoodie from whatever college team he thought I liked. He always seemed to think the effort of reaching out was more than enough. Still, I hoped. Some part of me always did. That's why, when he called 2 weeks before graduation and said, I wouldn't miss it for the world. I believed him. I ironed my gown. I told my friends he was finally coming. I even saved him a seat next to Ben, because I thought, maybe this would be the moment. Maybe this time, I'd matter enough. But I was wrong. Again, and now, looking back, I realized something. That's the thing about people like Mark. They don't understand they've already missed everything that mattered. They think showing up once in a while erases all the days they didn't. They think love is a performance, but it isn't. It's consistency. It's showing up when no one's watching. And he never did. A few days after graduation, I was still holding out hope. Maybe he'd call. Maybe he had a real reason for not showing. Maybe something happened, and the vague something came up wasn't just another lazy excuse. I hadn't deleted his message yet, just stared at it now and then, like picking at a bruise. Then I opened Facebook. There he was, smiling, wearing a golf polo and aviators, champagne glass in hand. Scottsdale, Arizona, tagged at some corporate-sponsored golf tournament, posted the same day as my graduation, captioned, nothing like closing a deal on the green. Great day with the best team. My stomach dropped. My hands went cold. I clicked on the photo so fast I nearly dropped my phone. He didn't even look like he remembered he had a daughter graduating college that day. I stared at the screen for a long time before I sent the text. You didn't even try to make it. Did you? He replied 5 minutes later, like it was nothing. I didn't think it'd be a big deal. You've got Ben anyway. That line. It split me in two. It wasn't just that he missed it. It was that he didn't think it mattered. That he thought I could be substituted that all the years of hoping, waiting, wondering, were just me being overly emotional. That his absence was acceptable because someone else had done his job better than him. I sat in the dark that night, curled up on my bed in my old hoodie, sobbing into a pillow like I was 8 years old again, waiting for him to call. But something cracked inside me. Not the soft part that longed for a father, but the steel underneath, the part that had been forged in all the times he didn't show. That was the moment I stopped seeing him as my dad. He was just a man who happened to share my DNA, a man who chose every other thing, golf, business, his new family, over me. And as I wiped my face and stared at my cap and gown still hanging on the chair, I felt something sharper than sadness rise inside me. Not spite, not rage. Something cleaner, resolve. If he wanted to downplay me, forget me, rewrite our story like I was just a footnote, I'd give him something he couldn't ignore. Something that would make him remember exactly who I was and everything he missed. Not through words, through success, through presence. He didn't show up for my moment. So I decided to build a life so bright, so public, so undeniable. He'd have to watch it unfold whether he wanted to or not. And he wouldn't get a front row seat. He'd get the view from the cheap seats, just like he deserved. In the weeks that followed, I unraveled, but not in the way I used to. I didn't crumble. I didn't beg. I burned everything quietly. I deleted my dad's number, unfriended him on every platform, threw away the framed photo of us at the zoo, the one he sent in an envelope when I was 12 because he couldn't make the trip in person. Then I started writing, not to him, for me. I filled an entire notebook with memories. Every time he forgot to call, every promise broken, every excuse disguised as love. I needed to see it all in black and white, not to stay angry, but to finally stop lying to myself. Ben noticed something had shifted. He didn't pry, but one night, as we sat in the living room and I absent-mindedly scrolled through my old graduation pictures, he slid a plain manila folder across the table. "I was going to wait," he said, softly, "but I think now's the time." Inside was a trust document, my name typed neatly at the top. I flipped through the pages, confused at first, until I saw the total, $80,000. "I started it when you were 16, he said, "little by little. Birthdays, holidays, bonuses. I wanted you to have something of your own." I stared at him, speechless. He added, "You may not be my blood, Emily, but you're my daughter. In every way that counts." I cried, the good kind of crying, the kind where your lungs feel lighter after. That night, I stopped asking why my biological dad didn't show up. I had something better, proof that someone chose me every day, without ever needing a spotlight, so I used that clarity and the money to start something. I launched a new Instagram account. *left behind but not broken. *no selfies. No filters. Just real stories. About growing up with emotional abandonment, learning to love yourself without a father's approval, and rebuilding an identity from the ground up. I posted one photo from graduation, captioned, *he didn't come. Again. But this time, I didn't fall apart. I stood taller. *it took off faster than I expected. Within a week, I had thousands of followers. Messages poured in. ****, I thought I was the only one. ****, your post made me cry. In a good way. ****, you helped me block his number today. It wasn't just content. It was connection. I started filming short videos, answering questions, talking about boundaries, emotional healing, how to move on without closure. It gave my pain a purpose and gave others a voice. Meanwhile, Mark kept texting. Still mad. It wasn't personal. You know I'm not good at this stuff. I left him on read. Then I did something that felt like the ultimate full-circle move. I applied for grad school, but not in Ohio. In California, 30 minutes from where he lived now. It wasn't about getting close to him. It was about proximity on my terms, about showing up in the same city and thriving in the shadow of the man who thought I'd vanish. I wasn't the forgotten daughter anymore. I was the woman who remembered everything and used it to build a life louder than his silence. Emily moved to California in silence. No announcement, no goodbye message, no heads up to Mark. She packed her things, hugged her mom and Ben, and boarded the plane without a single tear. Because she wasn't running away this time. She was walking straight into her power. She rented a small studio near campus and dove into grad school by day, content creation by night. Her page, *left behind but not broken*, exploded. What started as anonymous posts about being the forgotten child evolved into full-on videos, interviews, and panels. She was invited to speak on podcasts, to sit on discussion panels about abandonment, father wounds, and resilience. Then came the TEDx talk, raw, brave, and deeply personal. But what launched everything into the stratosphere was one post. It was a photo from graduation, Emily in her gown, holding Ben's hand, tears in her eyes. The caption read, ***, blood makes relatives. Love makes fathers. ***, it went viral. Picked up by news outlets, parenting blogs, even celebrities reposted it. Her inbox overflowed with stories, heartbreak, gratitude. And then, the fallout. Mark sent a long email, his first in years. Long paragraphs about how he didn't know she felt this way, how she was being dramatic, how she should have just talked to him. Then the line that clenched her stomach, ***, why are you doing this publicly? ***, she replied with one sentence, ***, because you ignored me privately. ***, she didn't wait for a response. She didn't care if one came. Months later, she was invited to be the keynote speaker at a prestigious non-profit gala for estranged youth. A black tie event, cameras, media, power players. She wore the same graduation gown under a tailored coat, not out of nostalgia, out of symbolism. Ben was her date. He wore a navy suit and carried her speech in his pocket like it was gold. The ballroom buzzed with anticipation. Emily took the stage under soft white lights. She spoke slowly, with fire and grace, about what it meant to grow up craving someone who was never really there, about the pain of being invisible, and the beauty of finally seeing yourself. Applause echoed. People stood. Some cried. She stepped off the stage, breathless, glowing. That's when she saw him, Mark, standing in the back of the room, out of place in a wrinkled blazer, eyes wide. He moved toward her. Emily. She stopped him with a raised hand. No anger, just clarity. You didn't come when it mattered. She said, this isn't for you. Then, without hesitation, she handed him a photograph. The same viral image of her graduation, Ben holding her hand. This is who raised me. She turned her back and walked away. Not out of cruelty, but peace. Because the most powerful revenge wasn't shouting, or proving, or hurting back. It was standing tall in a room he never helped build, and knowing she didn't need him in it. Emily graduates with honors, holding her degree with steady hands and a full heart. The ceremony is quiet this time, no viral posts or press. Just her, Ben, and her mom in the front row, beaming. Afterward, they celebrate with pizza and laughter at home, not needing anything extravagant to make the moment meaningful. With her graduate degree in hand and her platform thriving, Emily takes the next step. She launches a non-profit foundation with Ben. It's called *Rooted Futures*, dedicated to supporting kids aging out of foster care, kids who, like her, had to learn early how to navigate life without the people who were supposed to be there. The foundation offers mentorship, transitional housing support, and emotional wellness programs. Ben oversees operations. Emily handles advocacy and storytelling. Together, they make a perfect team, the kind built not by blood, but by choice. Her online page, *left behind but not broken*, grows into more than just a platform. It becomes a sanctuary, a digital refuge for thousands of young people struggling with estrangement, abandonment, or quiet grief. They share stories, post victories, hold each other up. Emily reads every message she can. She replies to as many as time allows, because she remembers what it felt like to feel unseen. and she's determined no one else should feel that way alone. Mark still sends the occasional message. Sometimes it's a weak apology. Sometimes just hope you're doing well. She never responds. Not out of anger anymore, but because there's simply nothing left to say. He missed her childhood, her milestones, her heartbreak, her triumphs. And now, he's missing her healing. The final, most beautiful chapter. One afternoon, after speaking at a high school event, a student raises their hand and asks, "Do you ever wish your real dad changed? That he showed up?" Emily pauses, then smiles gently. "No," she says. "I'm glad I stopped waiting. I got the dad I needed, and he was here all along." It's not a bitter answer, just true. And in that truth, Emily finally feels free. Emily walks across the stage once again, this time in a cap and gown for her master's degree. Ben stands in the crowd, clapping louder than anyone. No bouquet, just tears in his eyes and a proud, steady smile that tells her everything she's ever needed to know. After graduation, Emily does what she once only dreamed of. She launches a nonprofit with Ben, focused on supporting teens aging out of the foster care system. Kids like her, in spirit, who know what it means to grow up feeling unseen. Her Instagram page becomes more than a story. It becomes a lifeline, a place where thousands of young people find validation, encouragement, and the reminder that they're not alone. She posts resources, hosts live chats, shares other people's stories of resilience. She becomes a name people trust, not for being famous, but for being real. Mark still sends the occasional text, sometimes a holiday greeting. Once, a photo from years ago with the caption, "Remember this." But she never replies, not out of spite, but because the part of her that used to ache for his attention has gone quiet. He no longer holds any of her hope. One day, after a speaking event, a teenager approaches and asks gently, "Do you ever wish he had changed?" Emily pauses for only a second, then smiles. Not bitter, but clear. "No, I'm glad I stopped waiting. I got the dad I needed, and he was here all along." Emily and Ben sit on the porch as the sun dips low, painting the sky in warm tones of amber and rose. Between them is a box of old photos, faded edges, bent corners, little pieces of a life rebuilt from scratch. Ben pulls one out, hands it to her carefully. It's from her kindergarten play. Emily, tiny in a cardboard crown, standing center stage with wide, searching eyes. Her gaze is frozen in time, looking out beyond the lights, hoping someone special was there to see her. "I remember this," Emily says quietly, running her thumb over the worn paper. "I spent so long waiting to be seen." Ben doesn't say much. He never overdid it with words, but he nods with the weight of years behind it. "I saw you every single day." Her throat tightens, but it isn't sadness anymore. It's recognition, the kind that lives in your bones. She leans her head against his shoulder, the cicadas humming softly around them in her mind. She narrates not to the world, but to herself, a truth she now fully holds. "My biological dad missed my graduation, but my real dad showed up with a secret that I never needed Mark's approval, because I already had something better: loyalty, presence, love." She closes the box, the photo tucked safely inside. Asterisk asterisk final line. Asterisk 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 turns out, revenge isn't always fire. Sometimes it's peace. Asterisk.